In this video, I'm going to show you 3 different techniques that I love to use whenever I'm doing any kind of photography, just to make sure my photos are great, they're tasty, and they give other people just those enhanced point of views. So what a lot of people assume about me whenever they look at my work on Instagram or on my website, they think I'm a photographer who also makes videos on the side. And I can't really blame anyone for assuming that about me. A lot of the work that I share online is either photography or videography. I mean, just cut to the chase, that's mainly what I post. My main line of work, I'm a graphic designer. I'm actually employed full-time as a graphic designer. I do a ton of graphic design throughout every single week. Photography and videography is just a very quick, easier way for me to be creative and get work out there while still not burning myself out on graphic design. Now, because I do photography and videography on the side, I've had to teach myself a lot of stuff. I actually had to learn a lot through trial by fire. I like to combine these different strengths into one and still call it graphic design. I love to take images of actual products and then just use basic graphic design elements to create a call to action, to create something people want to stand behind, and to bring value to a brand. So in this most recent product photography shot that I did, it was for one of my favorite wax products that go into the mustache. You can call it mustache wax. See, this is why I make images and I'm not really like a public speaker, is because I know what I want people to hear and to feel, but I can't always curate the words, so I just make images and videos. I do mustache fix. So my first tip that I love to do, I love to create foregrounds. Now, if you go on the internet, you can find a bunch of examples of photography that uses 3 different layers. You got your foreground, you have your midground, and then you have your background. And then if you're in the Star Wars universe, or if you're just a nerd, you also have the high ground. Whenever I do product photography, I typically create a foreground and a midground. And in the midground is where I place the actual product or the focal point of the whole photo. Sometimes I like to deviate off that. I like to use a midground and then just a creamy, buttery, just smooth background. But for the most part, it's foreground, midground for me, because just having that foreground there is an element that make people want to peer through and figure out what they're actually looking at. Once they get to that focal point, which is the product, they go, aha, they have that aha moment. They have the satisfaction of figuring out the whole maze of the photo anyway.
All right, so I got the props set like this for now. I'm liking the idea of this bottle here, and then maybe showing a little bit of this bottle up here, but with it being vertical, I don't know if that's gonna look exactly how I see it in my head. I'm just wanting people to feel like they are peeking through and just seeing this product right here, and out of focus elements, but you can tell what they are. I think this axe is gonna look good, but if none of this works, I can obviously just switch stuff around until I get the look that I'm going for.
Now in your photos, you can create your foreground in many different ways. In this photo right here, I actually used some clear glass to create a foreground that led people to naturally just want to find that crispy part of the photo, which was the mustache wax can itself. So another way you can actually create foregrounds is to use other images that you find online. Just make sure they're royalty free, or that you actually have the license to use these images. So in this image, I actually found a royalty free version of a cinder photo, and it had a black background with just these orange and red embers or cinders. And I threw this image on top of my photo, changed the blending mode, and it looks like this whole scene, this wood is on fire. And I love that for this photo. It's very engaging and attention grabbing, and that's what I wanted for this product shot. And if you need to, in product photography, this is why I love it. You can just play with your props. So if you feel like this water bottle belongs, but then this Wi-Fi hotspot doesn't belong, you can just swap them out. You can change the position. You can bring it closer to the lens. You can bring it further away so it actually zooms in on your subject.
Sorry if the audio isn't as good. I just have a 28-70 on, and then my Rode mic is on the right side. Good thing about moving some of these products around is because in product photography, if you're just given X amount of props, you can think, okay, I can do this, I can do this, I can do this idea. But then when you actually start rearranging some of these props and you start seeing what's possible, or what different angles you can get, or what different alleys you can get for just your field of view, it's kind of just that's why in one video I was talking about Legos, how they're really good for creativity. You have all these pieces and you could be given a set, but then with those same pieces, you can start building other different sets and projects with, just with the same amount of pieces. And that's kind of how this is. That's what's so exciting about product photography and how I got into photography in the first place.
And this actually leads me into my second point. Make a plan, but plan to be flexible. See, yeah, it's good. Before any shot, for all my graphic designers out there, before you do any design and you waste your clients or your boss's time, just have a game plan, just brainstorm some ideas, get your notepad, get your notebook, get your hand, just draw some sketches, draw what you're thinking about. What lenses do I need? What time of day am I shooting? What kind of props do I need? What's the feel? What's the vibe? Who's the demographic? Is it going to be like an 83-year-old lady who loves birding? Or is it going to be like a 27-year-old guy who loves Legos, but also loves like synthwave and like heavy EDM music? Now this is the part where like it's okay to get creative. Don't be afraid to like stray off the path that you made for yourself. Get creative, like start swapping stuff out. If you have like a brand new idea in the middle of the shoot, go ahead and either do that idea like ASAP or write it down somewhere, maybe your hand, which is like easy, like the easiest place to write down notes. It's really important that you capture these ideas that you have, because in post, once you actually like put the images onto like a bigger screen, you might see like, oh shoot, I missed focus, or oh shoot, this whole layout, this whole composition of everything actually works better than what I originally planned. And I'm really glad that I listened to Tanner. So you start changing the lighting to like more of a tungsten or just like a cooler light. All of a sudden you just change the whole photo. Or in post, if you're in Lightroom, you start messing with cyan and magenta instead of just like having the regular white light on your photos. Whole new photo, whole new feel in. Speaking of Lightroom, speaking of editing software, this is my third and final tip for you. Learn your editing software, learn it well. Try to become a master at it. So my preferred editing software for photography is Lightroom. A lot of people look at my work, they think it's Photoshop. Photoshop is just like the cherry on top for me. It's where I make like my final edits, which is mainly just like the surrealism. It makes it look like how did he get that? It's probably Photoshop. Lightroom is just the easiest software to actually manipulate all the lights that are present at all in your photo. In fact, here's some photos that I edited just with Lightroom. And as with anything, just please take the time to learn the skills to be an effective creative person, to design well, to create just what's in your head. Anything good in this life takes time. It requires time, and it's worth it. Because then once you learn those skills, you're gonna want to take those skills to the next level, and it's just a rinse and repeat. Speaking of taking skills to the next level, here's some photos from that same photo shoot that I edited with Photoshop after Lightroom, just to kind of give them a more enhanced point of view. And that's the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, then please hit that subscribe and like button. That helps me out a ton. If you want to see any of the current projects that I'm working on, just visit my Instagram at theycallme_Tanner. All right, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you next time. Bye.